Hello everybody, Dark Lord of Sword here, and as you notice, I actually have changed my YouTube channel name. I decided that the old one was too wordy, and it also puts me back on brand with all of my social media, all of my, both social media and all of my appearances on Twitch and on PlayStation and so on. Regardless, this video is a follow-up to a comment I left on the recent Adam Savage's Tested video about Adam's replica of the Bride sword from Kill Bill. The comment I posted was regarding the terminology for katana parts. So I wanted to take a bit and go into that a little bit more in depth. Hopefully I have enough memory left on my camera. But let's get right into it. I am using two different katana, neither of which is particularly high quality, but they do well enough, and between the two of them, they actually display all of the parts that I'm looking for. So, let's get started. And first, let's take a look at the blades. Find something here to use as a pointer real quick. That'll do. So, to start off with, we have the blade itself. They are off camera, but one second. We have here the Kisaki, which is the point of the sword. The Boshi is this line that you see right here. Should be able to see it as the reflection changes. That marks the transition from the ha, or the blade edge, to the Boshi. Next we have the Shinogi, which is this section of the blade right here, which goes from this ridge to the spine of the blade, which is called the Mune. The Hamon, which is this wavy line you see here, is the temper line. And this denotes that this blade has been differentially hardened, which is a complex process which I'm not going to go into because that is a metallurgical matter, and one which I do not understand the chemistry of well enough to explain properly. This is one of the defining features of a katana, and of Japanese blades in general, and it is also the feature that is faked most often. On this one, which is my Sword Buyer's Guide custom katana, the Hamon is natural. It is a real Hamon. On this one, which is a Masahiro Shadow Warrior katana, it is fake. It is applied using abrasives or acid etching. The blade's heat treatment is the same all the way through. It is a homogeneous piece of steel. Next, we have blade carving, or horimono. This can take the form of either purely decorative effects like this here, or bohi, which are what in a European weapon would be called a fuller. However, their purpose in a katana is less about lightening the blade without changing the geometry than it is about providing an effect called the tachikaze. Basically, when swung, the blade makes a sound. If you have it aligned correctly. Moving along, we have the habaki, which is the blade collar. This helps to keep it inside of the saya, which is the katana scabbard. The habaki is traditionally made of copper, although brass is sometimes used as well. And then there are the seppa, which is one or more spacers, usually placed opposing on either side of the tsuba, which is the guard, to help take up slack from, say, a tsuka core, from a handle core that is shrinking because of moisture loss. They fill the same purpose as a shim in a Western sword, where the grip is shrinking. Below the Tsuba and any seppa is the Fuchii, which is a reinforcing band traditionally made of iron, but modern katana is often made of zinc alloy or out of brass. Its purpose is to reinforce the top of the wooden core of the tsuka, which is the handle core. The rest of the tsuka is comprised of a wooden core, traditionally made of ginkgo wood, I believe. Although, again, modern, it's often made of poplar or some other less acidic wood. And inside of it is a channel where the nakago, the tang of the blade, sits. It is held by, they are sometimes difficult to see, 2 bamboo pegs called mekugi, which pass completely through both the tsuka and the nakago. Traditionally, there is at least one. In modern martial arts pieces, it is typically at least 2. You may sometimes see antiques that have more than 2 holes inside the nakago. This is a sign that the blade has been remounted at least once. And over the tsuka core, there is a wrap of Samagawa, which is stingray skin, which is sometimes left in its natural state after drying, or is lacquered to give it color. Above that are the Manuki. The Manuki are one or more small ornaments. And originally, their purpose was actually to help hold the mekugi in, and they were placed on the reverse side from where you see them here, in order to help fill the palm of your hand, and assist with edge alignment. And however, as time went on, that changed, and they became much more of a display, sort of like jewelry, a way to show off what you could afford. And so they were placed on the side where you see them now, so that they would be visible from the outside, from somebody viewing the samurai from their left side. And there is, of course, one on the reverse as well. Over the Manuki is the ito, which is lacing. This can be silk or cotton or leather. It can also sometimes be things like pieces of tanned fish skin. And there are multiple different ways of wrapping it. And this is called hinerimaki. I'm not going to go into all of this, just because, again, complicated subject that deserves its own video. But this is hinerimaki, which is the most common form you'll see on production swords. What we're looking at here is a thin leather and blue cotton. And it serves alongside the Samagawa to provide a better grip. And then it is tied off at the end and helps to hold on the kashira, which is basically a butt cap. It is a pommel cap. Unlike in European swords and other swords that have a larger pommel, it does not really serve that much to help balance the sword, but it does reinforce the end of the tsuka. Moving on to the saya. There are many, many different ways you can find saya decorated. But the most common one you will see these days is this shiny, sort of classic piano lacquer finish. In fact, it is quite often the same lacquer used for classical pianos. This piece of wrapping right here is called the sageo. Here you see it in the presentation knot. This is how it would be presented to you. Properly, once you have received your katana, you undo the presentation knot, and leave it loose. It is used to secure the katana to your obi, to the belt sash worn with traditional dress. You can find videos on how to do that and elsewhere. The parts of the saya, aside from the main body itself, you can see that there is a sort of a seam around the top. That is the koiguchi. At minimum, the koiguchi is a ring of buffalo horn placed around the mouth of the saya to reinforce it. In some more elaborate examples, there will be a metal throat piece, as seen on some Chinese swords or the locket on some European swords. There may also be, at the far end, a metal reinforcing piece is called a kojiri, which does the same thing as a chape on a European sword. And the kurikata, which is the knob around which the sageo is bound, and which helps act as a stop for the katana while it is in the obi. It is usually made by inlaying a half circle made of buffalo horn into the side of the saya. There are many other ways you can decorate a saya, including things like partial or full wraps of Samagawa, which can then be filled with lacquer and polished smooth to produce a speckled effect, right? Or different other lacquer effects like layering and scraping away, or leather wrapping, or carving into the lacquer. There are some truly spectacular historical examples. If you have played the game Ghost of Tsushima, there are some absolutely gorgeous examples in that game, all of which are possible with real techniques. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Dark Lord out.